Welcome to this video on the Calypso Ultrasonic Portable Mini AV. It is a portable ultrasonic anemometer, which in plain simple term means you can measure the wind, which is really useful for long-range shooting. It's there's no moving parts, and it weighs only 78 grams. And it holds battery for about stated 150 hours. Anyways, I never managed to run it out of battery since I charged it regularly. So, very cool little thing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences with it, specifically as it relates to applied ballistics, also in the Garmin products. So why is this useful in the first place? What I found is that the most significant contributor to shot dispersion at long range, like maybe 500 meters plus 1,000 meters, something like this, is wind. Unless of course there's absolutely no wind, but that rarely happens where I live in Denmark. So wind is a really key issue to get your head around as you calculate the shot solution. So what I did previously, and which I believe is what I've seen many other people do as well, is you bring a portable anemometer, and before you go shooting you kind of measure the wind and stuff like this, and you even have the Kestrel have some solutions which is kind of similar to this one, where you can get a continuous readout of wind, and so this is basically the same idea. How does it work? The only thing you really need to do is to set it up, to point it at north, and I can show you the way I did it. So I am using my Insta360 invisible stick, which is kind of handy. It has an ordinary camera thread in it, and then I have built a spear. In the one end I have a camera thread, and the other end is just pointed. And so what I do is, close to where I go shooting, or where I think there's a good representation of the bullet will experience, close to the shooter, I put the spear into the ground and I screw on the invisible stick, and then the really only other thing I have to do is to get my compass, which I have on my watch, but you can have it any way you want to. And so I know that north is this way, there's an arrow on the device, and then I extend it to approximately 2 meters. So that's the way I set it up, and now it's a Bluetooth device, so I can pair it in one of two ways. I can either pair it to my Garmin device, so that would be my Tactix 8 or Fortrex 901. Or I can pair it to my phone. There's an app for that. And both works, I would say. The reason, initially I used the Garmin because it's kind of cool that it continuously updates, or continuously once a minute, it updates the wind speed and direction and sends it to the watch, which then in turn affects the shot solution. What I found was I kind of like to have confirmation that it's actually online. And so what happens with the Garmin is it updates automatically once every minute. And so two things: I don't really see a confirmation that it's actually online unless I have to go back and forth through some menus. And also, just an update every minute is not exactly what I want. A day like today, where the wind shifts a little bit, I actually prefer to get a continuous readout of wind speed and direction. So I don't get that on the Garmin. So it works per se, but I like confirmation that it's online at all times, and I like the continuous readout. So I use the phone. You pair the phone with the device, and what I found is I went like 150 meters away from the anemometer, and and it's continued to have great connectivity. So I'll put in the video what that looks like when you look at the app screen. I will say that I tried the app both on iPhone and Android. And as you can see, you get the readout, you see the wind, you see the direction, which is what I need. And that's fine. There's a diagram that kind of plots speed and direction over time, at least at this point in time, July 2025. That app is not flawless. It's kind of weird. So that's, but you get the wind. The one thing that you have to, that I had to change was that before I got this anemometer, when I entered wind in my device, in my case in the Tactix, the wind direction was given relative to the shooting direction. So that would be something like 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever. So it's kind of, think of a watch, and it's relative to the direction I'm shooting. Since now you kind of, you had the anemometer standing somewhere away from you, and it knows the kind of the absolute direction in terms of degrees. I needed to change the setup in the watch such that I'm not entering relative shooting direction, but absolute, like in some number of degrees. And it's super easy to do. And what you see on the app is the direction. And what I do is I kind of look at it and say, okay, it seems to be around this many degrees. And then I'm kind of there, so I can also for myself judge, is this an unusual wind setting, or is this kind of what it is most of the time? And then in my head I decide that I'm gonna go for this wind in this direction. That's what I expect when I send the shot. So that's really cool. So I enter absolute degrees and the wind, and that's it. And I found it to be really, really useful. I bought it from my own money, I want to say. I bought the AB version, which can connect to the applied ballistic devices, even though I actually ended up not using it for the reason I just described. And you might feel differently about it, but I like to be absolutely certain that it is connected, and I'm getting, like, once a second a readout of wind and direction, and then I make my own judgment of what I'll use for the solution. So anyways, great product, super easy to set up, long battery life. All I bring with me, of course it's a little bit more gear, but just to recap, there's the anemometer, which is like this. You can basically put it in your pocket. And then I put the invisible stick. You could do it any way you want. Any camera mount will do. I just found this one to be super light. And then I custom built a spear for kind of to put it in the ground. So anyways, very cool product. I'm very happy with it. I expect and hope for it to improve my shooting long range. So thanks for watching.